Specifically. One is we will provide financing to Liberian businesses, Liberian business women, Liberian businesses, because credit and financing is the engine for private sector growth and expansion. What caused the global economic crisis in 2008 was the freezing of the banks.
All right, all right. Listen, my people, I'm excited to be back here. Wow, I had to take a couple of days to rest, and it has been an excruciating process thus far. And I'm telling you, it is good to be back on. Let me drink a little bit. It is good to be back on, and just for the opportunity to, talk to you all as I've promised all week. I've been posting and just sharing some information to let you know that I'll be here to talk. So, meanwhile, while we are at it, I want you to do me a favor. Share the link. There are people that I'm not friends with that you're friends with, and that could potentially, be able to stumble across this podcast, and they can probably learn a thing or two. So while you're here, just share it for me. Share it for me. Share it for you. Share it for everybody else. And let's all have a conversation. Anyways, man. As you all know, all the time I was talking on social media. Throughout, I was actually in Liberia. And I know my buddy Tomlin, saw me like, man, you've been causing noise on social media. Yeah, I was actually in Liberia. I was in Liberia working and doing things. I didn't really have time, the time to, to socialize and there, because the focal point of my trip was just making sure that I was going there, doing the door-to-door work, the communities work, going to different counties and just looking at the structures, sitting in some CPP meetings and putting some suggestions together. Those are the things that I was doing, and thankfully speaking, I'm glad that I was able to not only make the trip but to be able to get involved, and do the things that we have planned to do. The work is not done yet, and we have a lot of work to do. And hopefully, we will be back pretty soon to continue that work. As we all prepare for the general elections. So today, I think it was just appropriate to quickly get on social media and talk about a few things that's been buzzing, circulating. As you can see, for the past couple of days, I've been on different platforms, and I will continue to be on different platforms, talking about the ANC, the CPP, talking about Mr. Cummings, sharing a little bit about Mr. Cummings' vision for Liberia, and hopefully we're educating people along the way. So where do I begin? Before, just continue to share the link for me, and then we will see how we can, talk further here. So, thank you, my man, Ja Eddie. What's up? Miata Dakina, what's up? What it do? Ramel, what's up? Kesali, appreciate it. Tata, I see all of you there. Thanks for following the podcast here as well. Okay, so let's get into things. All right, where do I begin? So we went to Monrovia, Liberia. We had the opportunity to go to other parts of the country, so our trip was not restricted only to, Monserrate County. We went to Bon County. We went to Margibi. We went to Nimba County. We went to Riverses. And we We had our things set up where we were going into the different communities. We went into different markets. We engaged our people. I wish unfortunately I didn't transfer some of the videos, but in another podcast I will be sharing with you some of my interactions. Some of the faces I had to probably remove from thank you, Miata, I appreciate it. Some of the faces I had to remove from the video because some of these people don't want to talk on camera, and I respect that, and I want to protect people who are were talking to me as well. But this is an emergency podcast. Probably will run for an hour or so. I've been having a little issue with our YouTube account on Unapologetic, so hopefully it's restored. But as we go, we encounter any kind of challenge, we will see how we can do our best to make sure that we're correcting that as well. So let's jump right into the thick of things. Fixer 2. So there's been this, surge of discussions, in terms of discussions on social media about Mr. Cummings' running mate. Now, if you can pay attention, if some of you followed my appearance on Front Page, Focus on Liberia, and then on SKTV and other media outlets, when the question was thrown to me about, who Mr. Cummings is going to pick, who's going to be this person, and people thought that they already knew, I kept, being a little diplomatic about this thing. And I was very careful in terms of my response. Thank you, Peter. And that was because, I understood the essence of this entire process, what it's going to entail, what was involved. And I believe at that time it was not really appropriate for me to jump in the thick of things and start talking about, about a process that was actually being handled by a committee set aside. I think for a month now, we got the understanding in terms of where the political party that Mr. Cummings will possibly go when it comes to his running mate. Thank you, Yvette. We all had a little bit of idea what that decision will lead to. But one of the things that's been consistent in terms of the hierarchy of the ANC and the CPP is that we weren't running this campaign. We're not going to run this campaign, or we're not going to run, our entire process based upon, what people think, and how people believe that we should go about the selection. One of the things that we consistently, hey, KB, what's up? What's up? Shout out to District 17. That's my players there. I will tell y'all also about the work that we're going to be doing in District 17. So anyways, so we pushed harder. One of the things that we consistently push over the past couple of months, over the past couple of years or so, is that no single vice president, presidential candidate or selection is going to change drastically the path to the election, or is going to make any political candidate some kind of victor. It's not going to happen. What's going to make you successful in terms of winning the election is a combination of how you're building your structure. Hey, Kema, and how you're putting boots on the ground, how you're engaging people out there, the kind of work that you're doing to make sure that people are actually buying into Mr. Cummings, right? That's what we've been stressing. And so even when we were in those meetings, the team of the conversation, thank you, Natanya. I appreciate the love, people. Y'all, thank you so much. The team of the conversation, as we were preparing, to head to Liberia, before going to Liberia, all of these things, right, was that we needed to focus more on the actual engagement. That's why we pour resources into our mobilization efforts. That's why we have people going to different districts in different counties, going to make sure that people can register to vote, right? That was the essence of it. So the campaign in its entirety was not based upon the fact that, oh, Mr. Cummings is going to only be successful if he picks this person that's going to drastically change the trajectory of the election. So all of those things were just, people and their own anticipation. Now, I understand why people are a little excited about who Mr. Cummings is going to pick for his running mate, right? Because this guy is a gigantic and enormous figure in our body politics. Here's a man who comes into our political arena, and suddenly he's the face of the movement, regardless of what you want to say, right? He's this guy that's not part of the system, that's not part of the status quo. And so suddenly now all eyes are on him. And especially if you're talking this big talk about changing system, taking on the establishment characters definitely will find all ways possible, right, to keep the spotlight on you because they were really nervous. So this whole thing about Mr. Cummings running mate, I can understand why people, right, are a little bit antsy about that. Now, let me say, hey, Ben, I appreciate all of you for following. And thank you all so much, man. I see a lot of people here commenting, following. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. So I understand why people are antsy, why people are excited. Let me take my glasses. I think I can see without it for now. I understand why people are antsy, right? Or why people are excited about who Mr. Cummings is going to choose, right? So you're all right. You're right to have that kind of anticipation, have your own beliefs in terms of that. But I'll tell you this. At no point in time Mr. Cummings ever been in a hurry, right, to make decisions, about his running mate. Now, do we possibly have an idea who this person could be? Yeah. Was there a list, right, that narrowed down those choices to certain people? Yes. Now, is it possible that recently there were changes that occurred, and so the selection committee had to do its due diligence and see where we are in terms of things? Hey, Nancy, yes. But with all of that, there's been a process put in place. And if you're Mr. Cummings, you need a rigid process because whatever you select, right, is going to be part of something special, a monumental, a movement that's going to, redefine not only our body of politics, but our country overall. So the slow pace, the intentional, right, a strategy to be a little bit careful and a coordinator when it comes to selecting the running mate number 2. I can understand why they're doing it. But all of us know that, let's share the podcast, guy. All of us know for a fact that based upon all that we've seen, Mr. Cummings is going to make the right choice in terms of his vice presidential candidate. And this is going to be something that a lot of you will be excited about and will be able to get ready to get as a team to see how best we can further push the message of Mr. Cummings. But don't be carried away by the noise on social media. Don't be carried away by the propaganda. Let me tell you something. The CPP is up against several individuals. You're up against the ruling establishment in the Congress of Democratic Change. You're up against the Unity Party, who also happens to be part of the problem in that country, right? You're up against a couple other people who are just overall jealous. I'm sorry. Just mere envious people will sit down. And so when all three groups, right, see the opportunity and to exploit, they will exploit any kind of situation. But I will tell you this, Mr. Cummings is calm. The team that's actually going through the process of selecting the vice presidential candidate, they're calm, right? And the only people who are a little bit shaky about that are just the ordinary followers and other people from the other side. So I can understand that. Now, let me tell something important. I'm important. Ooh, apologize. So, Jeremiah Cohen. What happened is that the selection committee consists of different people. Everybody in the political parties got their own persons and their own interests, and they will throw recommendations in terms of who they want to be the vice presidential candidate to Mr. Cummings. Jeremiah Cohen's name was submitted by some of his people who believe that he could actually be part of this movement for change. Now, he has his own right as a citizen of Liberia, and those who nominated him or put his name forward had their own rights to be able to throw selection, right, to the nomination committee or the selection committee, right? But what happened is, after his name was submitted, it went through a process and it did not meet the litmus test. It did not meet the criteria. It didn't come through in terms of the criteria, right? And so his name was immediately dismissed. It was rejected, right, by the selection team, because all we were trying to do, all that Mr. Cummings wanted in his vice presidential candidate, Jeremiah Cohen did not meet those criteria. Now, he is a Liberian. We show respect to him and any other person, right, that's gone through this process. But at no point in time was Jeremiah Cohn a serious name, right, that went through several processes and to say that, oh, it was narrowed down to a certain amount of person. Now, it was not true at all. So don't get carried away. People were doing the due diligence, and he did not meet the litmus test, right? And so that's how that particular thing. But in a highly charged political environment, right? In a highly charged political environment, you will always have situations wherein the other side will exploit. They will run their own propaganda. They will say things that are untrue. They will go there to make themselves feel good, right? But that's what the essence of proper communication is necessary, because we are able to come there and just let the people know this is not what you think. But at no point in time, Jeremiah Cohn was actually somebody that had really moved along the stages of selection, right? And that Mr. Cummings are going to say, you know what, this person is going to be the person I'm going to run with. No, absolutely not. His name was suggested by some people from Nimba County, some of his peers. It was forwarded to the selection committee. After they were going and doing their own, going to do their own due diligence, they realized that he did not really pass all of those things that were required, right, to be added to the ticket. And hence, his name was immediately rejected. I think Jeremiah Cohn did not even make it to the second phase, because the majority, let me not say overwhelmingly, the majority of those that are in charge of the decision rejected his name. And so he was actually removed from the search. But the search is going along. I can confirm that that particular search is now, as of yesterday, it was at 3. I do believe that there are 2 names now that are actually being considered. All of those 2 individuals have actually expressed their intentions, and they have actually agreed. It is just at this moment, it is just all about going through the process of the convention and making sure that we're doing our due diligence. Our partisans are there. We're going through everything that's needed to make sure that we do things the right way. And then after it is done, at the appropriate time, the standard bearer of the CPP, the head of the CPP, is going to, welcome all of you to wherever place it is, to see how best we can formally tell the nation who that person is going to be, on the coming ticket. I'll tell you this: whoever selected is going to be somebody that tie into the values of Mr. Cummings, is going to be somebody who share the vision of Mr. Cummings, and you're all going to be excited. So don't be carried away by all of the noise on social media. Here's one thing before I leave this part and jump into the second phase of my conversation. Here's one thing I know for a fact. I have learned that over the past few weeks and months, since I went to Liberia, that you don't buy into a lot of the things that are happening on social media. I was in Liberia. I could barely get online. I took my iPhone and it was downgraded to 3G. You can hardly connect on social media. It is very difficult, right, to get online. And tell you the truth, at no point in time when I was in Liberia did I even hear anything about Spawn. So I'm not sure where this lie is coming from, that Spawn, biggest platform, people listening to them. The bulk of the people are really busy about their own daily bread. They're trying to hustle. They're trying to get resources for their families. They don't really have time to pay attention to the social media and the Spawn talk. All of these nonsense are just only gaining steam of social media from people in the diaspora who have the data, who have the resources to hop on these panels, on these shows and stuff, and actually, give them the type of ratings that they have. But at no point in time, truthfully speaking, at no point in time did I hear anything about Spawn and that kind of stuff there. But anyway, back to back to the conversation. So that was the whole thing about the whole Jeremiah Cohn thing, and I wouldn't be careful. Even with the vice presidential candidate selection, many of you are just running around, and you'll be shocked that some of the things that you're hearing on social media are not true. It's just a bunch of quick reaction, impulsive people who think that they want things to happen certain way, and so they have their own suggestions. They want to throw social media things on social media, but truthfully speaking, nobody's really listening to those people, or they're not really close to decision making, and so there's no way for them to tell you what's really going on. So some of the things you hear on social media, they're even far from the truth, right? Or this person is being considered, or that person is this, or they're waiting on this person. All of those things are just all the whole, I mean, it's just all the propaganda and the politics, the anticipation driving these things. And so don't carry away about them and don't get confused. But I can assure you, contrary to what a lot of people are saying on social media, look, the process to select Mr. Cummings vice presidential candidate has been going on. And you got to give kudos to Mr. Cummings because, he has been tight-lipped. That team they've been very quiet about the selection process. They have not said much. And so all the talking and all the loud noise you're hearing about who's going this, that, the rest of it, all of those things are just coming from, hearsay and this and whatever it is. But there are options. Trust me. One of the things that you should know about Mr. Cummings, everything he does, there's also plan A, B, C, right? There are always options. There are always options that guide and drive decision. And third option, you must give it to this man. This man took his time to really drill down the process of selecting his vice presidential running mate. He took his time, he took his effort, he took the brains, he followed through the entire process. I can tell you this. If Mr. Cummings was a fast person, you have actually heard a vice presidential candidate nomination as far as 2 months ago. But the reason the like, okay, let's make sure and double check everything and stuff before we finalize. And let's go through the process. So what's happening now is the process. You want to go through the convention. You want to make sure that you go ahead and go through all of the formalities. And then the next part comes into play, wherein now you can announce that person. So as I stated, whoever selected or whoever's actually chosen, you will actually enjoy that person. You actually feel confident in the ticket as well. Now, let me move into my whole Liberia experience. Okay. So before I went to Liberia, and even though all of us sat on social media, we talk about different things and we went back, we defended. I had several things that I wanted to focus on while being in Liberia. One of that was I wanted to really, really go out into the communities and into different counties to assess the party structure, to interact with voters, and to build relationships or rekindle old relationships that I had in the country. And I think I accomplished that. But I also wanted to test the buzz, right, that's been circulating on social media of Boykot's popularity, the dominance of the Unity Party, and all of that. You understand me? And so when I went to Liberia, the bulk of my brains, my mindset was focused on listening and paying attention to where, there is a pattern of control, where that I saw that, Joseph Boyka and the Unity Party really had this grip when it comes to the electorates in Liberia. So the first night I got in Liberia, it was tense. I drove home. The roads were really bad. That's another story I will come down to. And so the next day, I was in District 17, the place that I grew up and everything. And so we walked on the road. By the way, I saw some idiot posting something. I'm just going to ignore it, right? Let me just say this. At no point in time in Liberia did I actually feel afraid of people coming to attack me. Let me tell you why. We got people in that country. We got connections. We got relationships. I'm not going to show up in Liberia and don't have the type of security and the type of protection that I need. And in District 17, I was comfortable because somewhere I grew up with. Majority of the people that was actually on that road that day knew me. Matter of fact, when I went on the road the next day, I sat down there. The place was kind of like a little strange because everybody's just building on the road. And so it's just congested. And I'm trying to find places. I recognize some of the areas and stuff, but I'm like, wow, man, this place is just it's just getting bad like a brother. And within a minute, ask the people on this time on this feed here that were attached to it. And I just heard people calling my name, the name that many of you don't know. And then in a second, I was just surrounded with all these young people that I grew up with, people that knew me, people who knew that, a lot of my activity was on that main Banjo Hotel Africa Road and stuff there, right? The center of District 17. And so they came around, my friends and everybody like, oh, Estrada, they started calling. And the children who came with me, that have been associated on social media, I call them family now, they started looking at me like, how does God know all these people? So, dude, look at all your friends there. The people there and stuff. There are people that are downtrodden and whatever it is. You can't be that. I saw my brother can't be on the road. You can't be in there. They all saw me. And it was crazy. It felt like I had never left that place. I kid you not. I am not joking. People are texting. KB's on here. Nessa's there. Matadi's there. Mafra, all of them. They looked at me. Nessa, Mafra, Matadi, they looked at me like, where does this guy come from? It felt like I never left at all. Never left at all. Because I was a popular figure on that end, regardless of why. You see, one of the ways that my father raised me, and I tell him thank you every day, that we never look down upon people. We always associated with the worst people in society because we're never taught to avoid people because of whatever status we felt we were. My friends were the ordinary people in that community. And so I felt at home. I felt so good being around those people after not seeing them for a long time. I'm telling you, KB, it was the best feeling ever. I'm not lying to you, my people. I was so sick. Even the people that some of these people were friends on the road calling their Zokos, they were my friend. I saw several of these guys, they recognized me. We played football together, the kingdom made that. Oh, they were so excited. These guys look at me like, man, these people dangerous. I'm like, nah, those are people that I actually know. And it was so soothing, so calming. Yeah, my friends on the here, they will tell you, it was the best. That particular thing changed my entire life. It changed my whole outlook. It changed my engagement in Liberia because from there on, I knew that anywhere I went in District 17, nobody would try anything. And that's the team. We went to communities. We went to different areas. We were over on the road. We had people all over the place. These guys would get on the bikes. They would come over to us and stuff. You know, yeah, where you're staying. This time we get. I mean, it was so soothing. And the young man Isaiah who got that whole block there, you know, Isaiah was me throughout the stuff. And I just say thank you. I just say thank you to him because, you know, all these people, they made the trip worth it. But we got to work. I went in the district. My father is a recognizable face in the district, in the country as a whole, you know. And my peers, my friends, the age group, all of these people, they started taking me around. They started taking me around and we started meeting people. The people selling the roads, so some of them were friends that we grew up with all over the place and stuff. I felt love. I felt love. District 17, I felt as peace at home. Nobody could try anything in that district. I'm telling you, you're going to make yourself feel bad because the protection that we had, the people that we had, the young people around us, and some of the people that we have behind us, you can't try anything. So we felt very comfortable. That was the reason why I had the zeal. I said, you know, but we have this relationship. We'll tap into it. And so I started going to different communities, places that I knew. Even my friends were joking. Some of the people that we met that were joking, they're like, somebody said, dude, when I go in late, I said, that man had I used to be walking 2-3 o'clock on the road so that y'all won't tell him to go. Y'all leave the man. So we were all over the place. Trust me. I basically fitted in. That's what people laugh at that. They making here jumping. I felt at home. There was nothing strange to me about Liberia. Absolutely nothing was strange to me. I fitted right in. The only thing that gave me a hard time in that country was the heat. Oh my gosh. The heat tortured me in that place. That's another story I will get into. So, you know, I sat there and, you know, I met up my old friends. KB were just on the head. KB then came. They were excited. KB got his car. He went and put people in there and stuff. They drove down. We're driving in convoy in that place. We drove to St. Paul Bridge, to the Riverside place. That whole place was covered. The people connected to us, the same people there. Everywhere we go, we had about pretty close to like 15. What y'all didn't see on camera was who around us. We have people positioned everywhere. Everywhere in that district. I walked in that district. Douala Market, I went down there, I walked everywhere. And so we were comfortable. And these young people came like, my man, you know, this is what you need to do. This is what we need to do and stuff. We're behind you and stuff. And then I went to District 16 in the St. Paul Bridge area and stuff and had a good time there with the young people talk. We realized through our individual visit, our single visit, that we've got a lot of relationships in that particular area. Trust me. Because the influential people are people who know us. I saw Delano Smallwood, Coach D. You know, I met them. And I went and toured the schools. And so as part of what I'm going to be doing going forward is that I'm going to be investing in the district. I'm looking right now for a district office in District 17 because there are issues that I saw that all of us need to be a part of. We need to change it. We need to get involved, right? And so one of the things I saw is that the downtrodden, this thing here, this thing about at risk young people, right? It is serious. And I saw that a lot of people I knew that have been impacted, right, by the drug issue in Liberia. Y'all we call them Zocos and stuff, but these people are our friends, they were people that we grew up with. And I felt really bad. Like one young man I saw peace, a young man in that district 17, where everybody know just completely went ahead. And then you have George, the young Pekin that should be, George, that should be somebody that could be a productive citizen in that country, completely wasted. Actually, yesterday I had to, my contact in the district had to take him for treatment yesterday, which I was able to cover the cost for because he got hurt. But I need to send him to rehab. So I'm working on that to see how best I can get him into some kind of drug rehabilitation. His thing is alcohol, is what he does there, and just kind of like find a way. But then when you do all of that, you have to have a plan in place. So I'm working on seeing if I can find a little small office in the district that's going to be able to help me to start dealing more with these young people and helping, tackle some of the issues impacting them in whatever way that I can. So as we speak, that search is going on, and and that exactly, Nancy, and that's what we're going to be. So part of what I identified there with the Ato F. Kula United Methodist School, a school that remains very dear to my heart, I saw there are things that they really need. One of the biggest things for me, before I left the country, on the Hotel Africa Road, wearing the guard by the Banjo Jones, where we got that LEC Power Wash station. A long time ago, I used to be so into basketball. Me and the Sam Gibson children, that Dino, them, all of these people, the late Alfred, and all of these people, and we didn't have a court there. And so the LEC compound used to be the place that we set up a little makeshift court and people used to practice. And surprisingly, when I went back there, a lot of people were talking about this thing. Oh, the Kwame Kawa, you remember the court? Yeah, the court there, the people not moving and stuff. I'm crazy. I'm telling you, it is amazing how the people still remember that court and what we did, what I did. Oh, and even what I wrote on the court, free your mind and the don't go follow, right? Josh, who is a disadvantaged young man now, unfortunately, Kingdom. Oh, that's right. You know what you wrote on the wall there, man? The people not playing, did not take the place, but they felt so connected to that. And so I felt that, that part of us is what really, what really, our bond was all about. So I will be building the basketball court at after F. Kula as my gift to the school, but also a way for the community to go back and start having somewhere for young people to be able to practice the skills and stuff. In addition, we're going to look at the library there and see how best we can put some computers in there. The bathroom is in horrible shape, so that's going to be another project that we'll target as well. So those are things on my own that I'm looking to actually work on to see how best we can be able to create some kind of shift and actually impact the people in the district. But overall, in terms of the voters' engagement in District 17, the people are really yearning for change. And it is kind of like comedy for people to think that, the Unity Party's got some kind of control or dominance. My people, I was shocked. I was shocked. Voters everywhere that I went. Now, you will run into a situation wherein there's some people who are still into the Unity Party fever, right? And they will express their loyalty. But the bulk of our people, the larger majority of the Liberian people, they are not talking about voting for the Unity Party or Joseph Boyka. In fact, you know what they'll tell you? They will say they're the same people. These are the same people that caused this problem for us. And even the other one that got a little bit of empathy will tell you, say, oh, maybe there should have been this amount of ticket here and stuff. But, we understand now that all the things that you're telling us, that's what the people need to be telling us here and stuff, so we can know Mr. Cummings, and we can be able to see how best we can vote for Mr. Cummings as well. That's what you will hear. This illusion of a Unity Party control of our politics is far from true. Don't fall for it on social media. Don't fall for it. Take your own ticket and go down and see. They hit the Unity Party. Let me tell you this. The people, don't forget, the people actually blame the Unity Party for what they're experiencing with George Weah. The most you will hear, they will tell you the resentment. They blame the Unity Party for the mess that they're in with the Weah administration. I'm telling you. And they'll probably say, like, you know what? Even though Ellen was there, at least Ellen time, we had this, that, the rest of it and stuff. But not one day would they tell you that they support Joseph Boyka. All that stuff is just all social media propaganda. I'm telling you. I'm being serious with you. Don't fall for the social media nonsense. One thing the good are using social media to spew all kinds of things. Okay? To spew all kind of stuff. But don't fall for it. Nobody excited about Joseph Boyka or the Unity Party in Liberia. The only people are the ones who are obsessed with the same thing. You're here to running around here, but there's not a larger base of people who believe in the Unity Party. Look, I will be honest with you. People will be the first to tell you that, you know, when you say that we're not vote, then to tell you say we support Joseph Boyka. It's not true. The popularity of Joseph Boyka is only on social media. It is not it is. You go in the counties, it's even worse. Of all the political parties, even though there's still more work that needs to be done with the ANC structure, but the only activity, the most activities that I see from political parties in those counties come from the CPP, ANC, and maybe to a certain extent the CDC. United Party structure in the big 6 counties, they are completely non-existent. Absolutely non-existent. Non-existent at all. And so the big mouth, the empty talk, the loud talking, the lies, the deception, the this, that, the rest of it, those things are all social media conversation. And not at one point did I ever feel that Joseph Boyka had a control of the electorates in that country. The day that they were announcing Jeremiah Cone. Let me tell you what happened. I passed by Yeke in Cinco, but I was at the beginning of that day when people were making their way to whatever they were making the announcement. I was at Paco Barber Shop on Broad Street, the guy who used to comb my hair when I was actually small. And you could see them. But the bulk of those people that you saw in town, they brought from Nema County. Jeremiah Cone went and trucked people and stuff and brought them to Nema County. Okay? What you saw is far from the truth, far from the reality. It was not one of those things where you say, oh man, we feel this. I think it's just a bunch of people who got tired sitting to see a little bit of noise, and the one there from Inter went and joined the crowd, and plus the people that Jeremiah Cone brought from Nema County went and sat there and said, oh, the Unity Party. But it was nothing that really, why you think after a day or so, everything just died down? It was not consistent. It was just all this formality, nothing truthful about what they were doing. And I saw some of the faces of the people, and I look at it, I laugh. I really looked at them and laughed. There was nothing really moving about, you know, that thing with the Unity Party, the announcement, and people actually felt that, you know what, this man here has got a force to reckon with. Actually, I have a recording on my watch. I was in several public areas, and I would just go and just record and just listen to people. The opinions that people had about that ticket will shock you. People say, oh, that's the same thing. Oh, but you sit down, you criticize Joe Weah and stuff. You criticize Nathaniel McGill and stuff. But then you go pull Jeremiah Cone, who happened to be the son of PYG and stuff. Now you're serious. That's what they were saying. They beat down on that ticket. I'm telling you, the ordinary people beat down on that ticket. In the Douala Market area, they beat down on that ticket. Pinsville Red Line Market, they beat down on that ticket. Raritan Market, they beat down on that ticket. I'm telling you, it was nothing exciting about it. There's nothing exciting about the Unity Party in Liberia. The only excitement about the Unity Party is on social media by a few misguided individuals who just use social media to push something. If you get in Liberia, you don't even hear anything about them. I mean, the people are so busy focused on their livelihood and trying to make ends meet. They don't even care about that. They're spontaneous. And now one day that I even hear about the nonsense calls. I don't even watch them on social media anymore. But there was nothing on radio. I sat down in the regular transportation, the regular cars, means for transportation and stuff. I didn't hear anything about spoon conversations. What I heard that circulated the most was when the ambassador wrote that particular release, that speech. Oh, I was walking in somewhere on the airfield in the tight little community and stuff going around, and I could hear people in the house talking about. They're not listening to Spoon though. They were listening to other radio stations and were talking about the ambassador letter. The people listen to the community radios and stuff down there. Community radios feed a lot of the stuff. National radio, they'll listen to one or two things and stuff. But the most of the people are in the street looking for ways to survive. The country is so expensive. The country is so expensive. I was looking, paying attention politically because I had to come back to be able to talk to my people. I went to the counties and stuff down there to different counties, and I saw the people. Look, the voters are willing to listen. They're willing to listen. They want to listen. They want to listen. I have a video. I will scrub it and I will play it so you guys can listen to it. The woman begged me, please don't put my face on this yet. But I think I extracted the audio. The things that our people will say if they're not on camera, you will be shocked at it. I was convinced that the Liberian people are tired of George Weah. That's why I came. And you see me people say, oh, y'all focus on the opposition, this, that, the rest of it. Mind you, I went with a different perspective. I will tell you this. And I even got, when the real time comes for the sun, will start jumping after George Weah told that stuff. But I'm telling you, Liberians now have reached to the point where they are just tired with George Weah. I will confess, with all the roles thing that I've been talking on social media, I was a little worried that people were buying into and these people were actually constructing roles. One of my biggest, in addition to the Unity Party lies about popularity that I was shocked about, which seems to be non-existent, one of the things that shocked me the most was the road condition in that country. I thought that everything was so perfect in terms of the road. I got sick from the road. Even today, my entire side hurts. I'm telling you, the roads in Liberia are so terrible. The roads are so bad. I kid you not. The roads are so bad. I was car sick. My side hurts. You ride in a car for hours and everything just vibrating. Lincoln, start calling me, my man. Everything in you just vibrating. Everything's shaking. I'm telling you, your whole inside, you can feel your diaphragm moving along. That's how bad the roads are. If you go to the National Port Authority, the Freeport there, the gateway of the nation's economy, and you don't even know how to make it presentable, the roads are so terrible. One of the things that would take the most of your time would be the traffic and the roads in Liberia. So what we did is that we got stopped in a certain area, and we noticed that we've been in traffic for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We jumped down from the car. We tell the driver, drive ahead with me at this destination we're going to go and actually canvass this area. So we get to this spot here, we get down with our team and stuff, security, everything and stuff. We'll move into that community and we'll knock on doors. We'll stay there for 1, 2, 3 hours and stuff. Boom, we'll go and catch all the driver and stuff down there. We'll go to the next point. And so, economically speaking, the country is in bad shape. Liberia's in a terrible condition. I need not even say much. If you think that like, go get a ticket and go to Liberia and see for yourself. The country is expensive, unnecessarily expensive. Way too expensive. Liberia should not be that expensive for that country. So if even means complaining about the country being expensive, just imagine the ordinary person who can't even fend for themselves, what they're going through. Country is very expensive. Very, very expensive. Everything there, that you touch, you put your hands on, there's some kind of price tag to it. Automatically, you get this sense that the country is running itself. That's the best description for it, right? Meaning that nobody seems to be directing the affairs of the country. Everybody's just operating on their own. Taxi driver, market people, the students, our parents, everybody's doing their own thing to just survive. There is no structure. There is nothing organized in the country. The country is in complete disarray. I tell people, I use the description. If you leave from one state, and some of you who travel along Virginia, if you leave from North Carolina, and the moment that border sign says that you're in Virginia, you get in Virginia, There's a different energy you feel, right? You see the cops along the way. You have to adjust the speed limit because you know the moment you go above, you're pulled over, right? You see the restrictions is a little different than the previous state that you're in. So when you get in Liberia, you automatically begin to feel this hopelessness. You feel you immediately feel the hopelessness in Liberia. It's not hiding. The hopelessness is so evident. And what's even a national a threat to national security has to do with all these disadvantaged young people. The disadvantaged young people always, if we are not careful, one of the problems when workers want so money, and those disadvantaged people will go ahead and organize themselves, right? And they will say, they're running for the presidency because they have organized themselves in a way. They have pockets of resistance everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see young people. You're calling Zocos, but I call it disadvantaged youth. Every corners of the country. I went Bon County, you go to Riverside County, you go to Kanta, you go to all these places. When you go there, you see these young people, the hopelessness in these young people. I kid you not. The country is so bad off that everybody's just building on the road. And it's not even anything structure, makeshift structure. Everybody's selling. So usually you see those kind of landscape, those kind of things in like broken communities. Even the cities getting occupied by all of those things. Broad Street is completely dead. The economic activities there is just so far gone. It's like people sit in this spot for 1 minute, it boil a little bit, or there's some little activity, then they move to the other area. The moment they move to the other area, this side die. So there's no centralized economic. There's not, the economic activity is not spread out through the country. It is just focused in one little area, right? And they move based upon how certain people dictate that it moves. So bad. So broken. Okay? And those are the key issues, because I get this feeling. You understand me? I get this feeling that everything's collapsing, right? Everything. I lived in Liberia through all the civil wars in our country. Because I know that a stupid person not coming. I lived in Liberia through all the civil wars in that country. Looking at people running down Macklin Street from the pipe, all the stuff. So when I talk about these things, I'm not saying these things based upon the fact that you something. I don't even have to explain. I went through every civil war in Liberia. I was at the age of reasoning when I left Liberia. I went there, I felt at home, right? We are connected in Liberia. We are deeply connected in Liberia. Trust me, nothing strange. But I observe, I open my eyes. And if even you want to make the argument that, you bet it was like that before, then where is this change that the real government promised the Liberian people? Because if you go that the country is still the same way as you claim, right? And you say, it was like that before we are took over, then what exactly is George we are doing? It means that he's doing nothing, and he's doing nothing. The country is in a terrible shape. It does not mean being political or attached to any political party. It's me observing from a micro and macroeconomic perspective. Country is done. Liberia is at this phase where if we're not careful, there's going to be a major civil unrest in that country. Because all of those things that lead to chaos, they are actually brewing right before our very own eyes. Lawlessness. A pocket of young people who do not have any hope, building themselves and have this authority, this control of certain areas. You are creating militia men amidst harsh economic conditions in that country. That's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. So there's no dominance of unity party in the country. That's all lies. It's all propaganda. Joseph Boakai does not have no control of the voter or electorates in that country. It's far from the truth. If I want to be honest with you, I think from an ANC perspective, CP perspective, we need to work harder and actually go and reach those voters or those registered people. Yes, we have to do that, and we have the resources to do that. But I will tell you today, out of 5 voters, if you sit here today, you will find 3 of them undecided. You'll find 1 in the middle, and you'll probably see the other one are looking, a little different and stuff, right? So that tells me there are a lot of different opportunities. A lot of opportunities there. You understand me? Or if Ellen Days was better and stuff, Ellen does not believe that Joseph Boyka can change Liberia. That's why she rejected him and she opted not to support him. And she continues to make it clear that he should be nowhere near our body of politics. So the only people that stuck with Joseph Boyka, the few handful that can't even spend $5 on the party that will be talking. And that's why the struggle. The people who behind Joseph Boyka cannot even put $5 in his campaign. They're all bunch of talkers. But then we can see things. Okay, we went to Liberia, we used our own money. Political party didn't spend all the things that we did, the cars we drove, the security we hired, the monies we spent, the food we ate, all of the things that we did on behalf of the political party. None of those things were financed by any political institution. It came strictly from our wallet. Strictly. Every dime in that country that we spent, it came from our personal wallet. Go fact check it. Nobody, no politician sign or budget and say, oh, let's go this, that, and we're not expecting it because what we want to see happen in Liberia is based upon our own conviction. This is the difference. Look, when anybody talk, this is the difference between people who support Mr. Cummings and people who are behind boycott. A lot of the people who you hear talking, running the damn mouths all day, those are people who approach us in the back end. Oh, Mr. Cummings need to pull things aside so you can put some on payroll and stuff. Look at the market tape scene today. That one was all behind me here to be Mr. Cummings so we can go ahead and put them on some kind of budget and stuff. They got this empty sense of arrogance. Wearing the thing they have a wrath that somebody, Mr. Cummings did the wrong way. Because you think when Mr. Cummings came in 2017, he was new and he put too much money, millions into the election. So some of them think that it was business as usual, right? Oh, Cummings, yeah, you need to pay for this. You need to do that. And I will. You got to do this for your country. That's why a lot of them now are going the easier route, the boycott way. Not because they believe that boycott is actually a formidable candidate. It's because of the ego. They know the nonsense that they'll do in Unity Party. They will not bring that team to the ANC. My people, these guys are opportunists. They know that we're not getting in our face. Because with all the talk that we talk, regardless of what you say, we put our money where our mouths are. I'm telling you. Okay? We put our money where our mouths are. With all the stuff that's going on. So this is a difference. We'll go out there, we'll talk, and we'll put in the work, make ourselves available, we'll take from our own little small resources, and we'll pour it into the political party. And the thing about it, we're not doing it because we want jobs for this company. It's because we're passionate about something, and we see that for it to be able to get to where it needs to get, this is what we need to do. You understand me? So these are the things that I saw. There is no dominance by the Unity Party in Liberia. All of the noise about Boyka's popularity, it is just on social media. Voters are more open to understand, to learning and hearing what somebody will do different from the people before, the we administration and all of those people who've been part of government. Then they will tell you that they're supportive of the person who's been responsible or the reason why they're facing this mess under George Weah. It's far from the truth. Far from the truth. So now let me go to another process with something, and we'll continue this. Gradually, we'll move into other places. I will have other discussions, show other videos about my time in Liberia. Where did I see optimism? Look, I fell in love with Liberia again. And, I enjoyed the company of my father, so much knowledge, so much insight in terms of the problems of Liberia and stuff, the brilliance, the mind that he has, the respect that people have for him. I just sat down and admired the kind of respect that people got for my father in that country. I was just in admiration. And I just listening to his wisdom and all of those things. But I fell in love with Liberia. So when the time came to leave Montserrat County and go into the counties and stuff, the other counties, the rural areas, and actually access our structure, I started seeing the sceneries. You hit Carisburg, then you start going to Bond County. Margibi County, Bond County, the Buchanan Way, all of these highways. You see the beauty and the opportunity of creating a rising economy in that country. From a professional practical economic standpoint, I sat there, the young people that are in the car with me, I started taking videos that I did when I was driving along Georgia and Tennessee, the sceneries. And I started showing it to some of them about how those things are similar to what we're seeing along the highways. And I said, just imagine how vision can use these as a way of fixing the economic challenges that we see in that country. I'm telling you, I fell in love with Liberia. The landscape, breathtaking landscape across that country blew my mind. And I thought for a second, does these people understand what they're sitting on? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine what a leader with vision can do in that country? I said, wow, the Liberian people should reason enough and vote Mr. Cummings as president of that country and see the level of transformation that will happen under that man's presidency. And I stress to the young people that are with me, I say, you know what? This is what we talk about, vision leadership versus people who lack the vision and don't understand anything. Because it takes vision to spot opportunities, right? In the the simplest things around you. Because vision will see the dirtiest thing and see the potential in it. We'll see the diamond in the rough. We'll look at beautiful landscape and say, you know what? This could be a multi-billion-dollar industry that we can create in this country that will reform, that will create economic reform in this country like no business ever. Then I saw the resilience of our people in the different counties. And I was like, wow. I was like, wow. The country is so blessed. Liberia's got so much opportunity. And if only the people understood how important it is to elect a vision-based leader, I can assure you the level of economic transformation that happening in that country, it will be beyond your wildest imagination. I saw the resilience of the Liberian people in the rural areas. I see how the people live, how they survive, how they continue to fight on. And I was so impressed. I was so impressed. I was absolutely impressed. I was absolutely impressed by everything that I saw from the Liberian people in the counties, in all of those areas. Look, I felt so good. I look at the opportunities. I'm like, wow. Then I went to Cottington University and saw these young people looking so amazing, so intelligent. And I'm like, hey, God, look what we have here. Look at these smart children. Look at these smart children that can become productive members of society. You know, look at that. Your sorrow. My people are texting me. So I will soon get up from here and stuff down there, getting juiced. You know, and so I saw the beauty of Liberia. And I saw how economically we can transform that country. You know, one thing, I was in Douala Market and talking to these people about voting for Mr. Cummings, right? Before, people were shying away. But when I started talking to the other group and started making sense, the other group started pinching people, telling him to come here when you finish. That's how our people are. And then something I said that woke up everybody in the market there. And the leaders from the market started coming to me. And I said, I want to see you guys here. And I want you to look across the street. You have the Lebanese people, no negative things, you know. I say, look at the Lebanese people. Look at you here, right? Just take a look at what you've been doing and what they're doing. The people say, my son, you're making sense. We have our mother. Some of these people have been selling in that market for a long time. No growth, struggling to expand the businesses. But you get this man comes from nowhere. He has access to the monies in your local bank. And the next thing you know, he takes over the entire side of the road. He's selling ice. He's selling bread. You know, He's selling all of this thing. Guess what? The people in the market now got to go buy from him to sell, right? Wholesale, then they sell at the retail price. So they're the only ones that are expanding in terms of the businesses. But our regular people who's supposed to be expanding, they continue to live at the mercy of those individuals. I said, that's not a level playing field. Then I saw the young man who's been selling rapports in 2018. The same thing. I gave him more than he had in goods to sell that day, and he was so thankful. I said, go find a way to expand your business, my picking lay here. And the people started listening. Imagine if the banks were providing the kind of training, the Ministry of Commerce were providing the kind of education and access to resources, to monies for our own money to venture into those same businesses that the Lebanese people are taking control of and actually suppressing them. You just imagine the economic shift, transformation we see in that country. And the people started listening. So these are the things that I observed in the country a little bit. I got a meeting to hop on. I got some things to do, from our party perspective and stuff. But there are so many things, so much hopelessness in Liberia. And that's why it is important for us to dig a little deeper. I will tell you this, don't listen to the talkers. Majority of people who run in the mouth don't have more resources than you. Let me get you the trick. The man that being secretary general for a certain political party does not have more resources than you. The one who sit on social media and talk all day about other people, they don't have any more resources. The diaspora members are strong. Don't underestimate the influence and the relationships that you have in that country. You can go in your area that you stay and reconnect with the people that you used to be with. And I can assure you, you will have more following than some of the jokers who sit and run the mouth. And you know what? You have the resources. What the man got? The man even got fastened to do nothing. But you have it. If you just play things right and you just focus on working and tapping into those relationships, you will see the type of change, the level of change that you can create in that country. So to summarize my points before I close up and come back again, maybe tomorrow or tonight. Like I stated, the noise about Joseph Boakai being in control of the Bada party is all fallacy. It's all social media talk. Don't fall for it. They don't have control of anything in that country. Nobody knows them. Trust me. They hate the Unity Party more than anything. I'm telling you, the voters, they hate the Unity Party even more than the CDC. So don't fall for the nonsense you see on social media. That's just a few individuals who run in their mouths and stuff with nothing behind it to show. Don't get carried away with that nonsense. Don't get carried away by it. Also, this thing about roads is all fallacy. There are no roads in the country. The roads are terrible. The roads are bad. Honestly speaking, if you want me to be truthful, I was very disappointed. I thought this was the only thing that the government had working in its favor. But after I went there and I saw for myself, there's no roads in the country. So finally, about the Mr. Cummings, fixer 2. Let's all calm down a little bit. There's a process in play, right? There are things that are being worked on. That process has been in play for months, if not a year. They're almost at the end of the process. I can assure you there are options on the table. And that particular option, right, will be made available. It will be known to the Liberian people. It will be known to the Liberian people. Don't get carried away by the noise. Don't get carried away by the foolery. Don't get carried away by all of the foolishness that you hear on social media. Those are hungry individuals. You see me? Let me tell you this. Yeah, I support Mr. Cummings. Yeah, I support the agenda of the CPP. But the things that I say, they are not sponsored by no politician. Nobody's paying me to say anything. I don't have to come on social media to talk because I expect to pay from nobody. This is a difference when you're looking for information. Listen to people. Listen to people who know what they're talking about. I'm not getting paid. I'm not asking nobody to give me a dime. I don't need anybody's resources. I can fend for myself. That's the difference. That's why we come and we talk to people, we engage our people, and we educate them. I'm telling you, all of the nonsense you hear is just also. You go to Liberia, you not even have time to pay attention to social media. I was in Liberia. I didn't even have that much time to do anything on social media because majority of my day, I was in the traffic, I was in communities, I was working and stuff. I was not even listening to the stupid radio. If everything that was on radio, it was not even about the spoon and all these nonsense. All of these things are only gaining traction because we sit on social media and you give some of these fools attention. In the public, I'll tell you this, some of them that will see you, they'll be even afraid to even come to you. They'll be nervous to even engage you. I'm telling you, some of them will make the mouth all day when they see you in Monrovia. They wouldn't even come to you. They would be very insecure of themselves. You know, I went somewhere. I was in a certain district with a certain CDC, a person who supports CDC, a very good friend. I was there, safe, sound, and secure. And I went to the office and I saw a young man who knows me for social media. I've been talking a lot of different stuff. He was sitting there in the office of the person. And nervous saw me. Oh, I think I know the Bobby here. Is that Bobby Duke? Oh, Bobby, how you doing? I just look and laugh. But you know, we don't hold anything personal with people. And they sat right there and stuff down because the person that there's something with, so some a very good friend who's part of the other political party and stuff down there. But those are people that we have good relationships with. I sat down in that place for like hours. We talked, we had conversations. So they were sitting down, so I'm like, I said, my opinion, be easy, okay? Okay, yeah, chief. I said, don't call me chief, my man. So these are the things that we experience. I'll get into more. I'll get into more videos. I will get into things. I will show you some things. I will bring some images out the next time I'm actually on. But I just want all of you to calm down. Don't get carried away with the propaganda. What you see is propaganda. People, why you're listening to people like Martin Colley? Martin Colley can't fend for himself. That piggy ain't got $5 for himself. Martin Colley lives at the mercy of other people. Emmerich financially took care of Martin Colley. When Martin Colley was being attacked in Monrovia, it took the goodness of Emmerich to provide security for that clown. Why are you listening to those people? Why you think some of us don't even get that credence? Why? Dude, I got my voter registration card, so my voice will be heard. I will be voting. So don't listen to those people. Don't listen. They're paid propagandists. They're only good at running the mouth on foolery. Look at the integrity of people. You call George Weah all the nonsense you want, but you support or ticket with PYJ on it. You said George Weah corrupt, but Joseph Boyka corrupt. The United States report showed that Joseph Boyka corrupt. You still defend it. You said that, you said you're a young man, you want to change Liberia, but you run into somebody who's been in government for 43 years and hasn't done a damn thing. Or because you thought that people are going to put you on payroll. Mr. Cummings said the ANC won't pay you no damn payroll. Who are you? You come in the ANC, you can't even compete with some of us. That's what they're afraid of. They like to go places wearing the thing. Other people will worship them. They come to know you got to deal with a Duke. You got to deal with Emmerich. You got to deal with intelligent people who will not pay attention to the shit that you're writing. So the insecurity is what drives them to Joseph Boyka. Because there's much more opportunity for the buffoonery, the foolery. People will buy it there because they don't know any better. You're bringing that shit in the ANC. You're not bringing it here. We're finna putting you in your place. We're finna putting you in place. We're checkmating you. We're finna questioning you. We're finna putting you where you need to be. So some of them feel insecure. This is why they can easier go to the other side because the brand of engagement thrives in that kind of mediocrity. They don't like to feel challenged. They don't like to feel tested. I'm telling you. Because you come to the ANC, it's all about ideas. When we sit in those meetings, we're challenging you, we're sitting there and taking instructions from people, we give people shit. You come with people who are intelligent, who have minds of their own. They will push you to the brinks. Those boys are insecure. They want to go to the crowd and say, I will say, the one thing I was saying, jump behind it, oh, that man powerful and shit. But you go write rubbish, I see through that stuff, poke through it and stuff, and go sit down somewhere. You can't write a bunch of rubbish and say, where have you worked before? What have you done to throw around these kind of suggestions? Who are you? This is why they have a lot of people. This is why they feel so insecure about coming in the field. They call it, oh, the people are too arrogant and this. I know it's not about the arrogance. It's about their own complex issues. It's insecurities. Insecurity is what driving a lot of these people to Jeremiah Cone and the Joseph Boyka. Because they don't want to come and compete on ideas. They don't want to feel challenged. They think that they need to come somewhere and people are supposed to say, oh, we hail their president. Oh, you this, that, the rest. No, it don't work that way, though. Even Mr. Cummings gave us the opportunity to challenge him in a respectful way. Even those leaders who are up there, we challenge them every day. I gave a Luscious store shit. In-laws, when I get ready and stuff, then I push them to the brink. At the end of the day, they respect that because they know what we're building is based upon ideas. Those guys don't have ideas. They lack ideas. That's why Joseph Boyka will never tell you how he's going to change that country. Us, Rose. The bare minimum bullshit that nobody's buying into is the shit that we run around with. So don't pay attention to those people. They can't move the needle. They'll hire writers. They'll hire propagandists. People pay them before they move. Before they wipe their butt, people get them tissue. So somebody that can fend for himself, somebody that can feed himself, a man who cannot put food on his table will ask somebody writing the check. It's not a real man. If your outlook on issues is based upon who's paying you to say what, you're not a real person. But you can say it. I can say all I want. Because nothing that I am is actually made based upon me collecting money from people. And I go and support the people that I believe in. Some of you will not take a step to do it because you want to get paid. You can't even afford meal on your table. You can't even afford plane ticket. You're making all that beamer rubbish, writing shit. You can't even go to register to support Joseph Boyka. Then you say somebody after you. Who after you? No damn person after you. It's just that George, we are just embarrassed some of us and stuff, and a lot of these people and stuff. That's why every Tom, Dick, and Harry will say, oh, they after me, and they this, that, the rest of it, and food in there, this, that. Nobody after you. So don't pay attention to the people. Don't give them no mind. Don't give them no credence. Don't listen to jokers like Martin Colley. I tell you, you'll tell Martin Colley to put a pen and paper down and go on any platform across and do. If I made up a little small and stuff, I would disgrace him. Because you know what? He does not have it. He doesn't have it. What they spew out there is not what we want Liberia to be. Bunch of gibberish, bunch of foolery. No, those people who sit down and write real critical thinking papers, those things are published, they're getting paid to do so. Not the rubbish that posted around here stuff. Who actually pay attention to that shit? They don't want to compete. They're insecure. The insecurity in them is why a lot of them find themselves in that position. So I will be back on again. I just want y'all calm down. Look, one final thing. This is politics. The other side will take advantage, right, to counter. Y'all went after the people that say, oh, the vice president. You went after the VP candidate and said, say, oh, you sat down all the time. You got who goes into election or who's going into a major election and don't have idea who the vice presidential candidate will be. Don't really believe that shit. But it's all politics, all propaganda, and that's what Unity Party thrives on. So you now, the followers, or you, the people who support Cummings or support a better Liberia, should understand that you cannot fall into the trappings of nitwits. CDC was calculated. They went and they used their connection to Edwin Melvin Snow for Edwin Snow to go and post rubbish on social media. Then everybody, you see how carefully coordinated they are. Everybody started feeding into it. The next thing you know, oh, Cummings got running bid. Oh, he said now he begging this person. Oh, this, that. Don't feed into all of that nonsense. There's always a plan A, B, and C. And all of those things have been thoroughly checked. A man who's been in the structure and the system for a long time understands the essence of decision-making, critical thinking, making sure that he's narrowing down choices, and making sure that for every decision, there are alternatives, there are options. So regardless of what they say, don't pay them any mind. That's the propaganda. Don't fall for it. The truth here is we're in control. We're looking to go for convention in Gompa City, Nima County, and we will leave from that convention with a renewed sense of energy. And pretty soon, you will hear from Mr. Cummings who his running mate selection will be. And regardless, remember this, not any single nominee or vice presidential candidate is going to help you to win an election. What's going to help you to win elections going to be based upon the work you're doing in the communities, in the different counties, talking to voters. That's where our focal point should be. Reaching to your existing relationships, your friend that used to go to school before, your church members as well. Reach to all of those connections and talk to those people. Everybody in the diaspora can be an impact. If even you can go to Liberia Make phone calls. Call your relatives in counties. Look at the places that you used to stay before. Look at those districts. Find people in the diaspora who are from those districts. Network with them, connect with them. Your form a group and your go and start taking on the voters in that district. I can assure you, if all of us collectively can use our influence and relationships in those different districts, we will be able to get the change that we need. The other people not working, they don't have the money, they're not going out there, they're depending on the so-called fake illusion popularity and this, that. The same popularity that made them not to win anything after Ellen Johnson Sirleaf left that party. Don't get sucked into the trappings of propaganda. Pay attention, believe in your standard bearer, believe in the new Liberia. Think critically before you pay attention to stupid people. Because if you're not critically thinking, and you're getting carried away by stupid people will continue to win. Before you pay attention to what somebody writes, think about it. Who is this person? Before you pay attention to propaganda, look at the person who's pushing the propaganda. Me, I ain't got time to whistle. If you can't fend for yourself, you can't provide food for yourself. If your livelihood depends on somebody, everything that you write is sponsored by the same warlords that you've been critical of. I'm not wasting my time. But I will say this though, if you want to talk about the issues, I dare you. Call any platform, sit across from me down there. Let me destroy you on that. My people, I appreciate it. Y'all, thank you so much. I will be back on again. Let's continue to engage our people. Fixer 2 is coming. I am excited. I'm confident that Mr. Cummings is going to select the right person. And regardless of who he selects, the ANC's got a better chance, a better shot at winning an election in that country because we have done the work and will continue to do all that we can to change Liberia. On that note, my name is Duke Estrada JJ. It has been a pleasant afternoon with you, talking about my experience in Liberia. Hopefully, the next time I'm here, Emric and myself will have to come on live so he can talk about his experience. He can make sure that he's educating all of you about what we went through in that country as well. One more final thing, we have a huge launch coming up in a pretty soon, a matter of days or so, a week, at the Redemption Hospital, a maternal closet that's going to be beneficial for your family members and pregnant women in that area. Once that closet is launched, please encourage your family members to go there and actually reap the benefits. The picture you're seeing is from the Phoebe Hospital maternal closet there, but I'm telling you, I will provide more details. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about Mr. Cummings. Listening, we're coming back in our numbers to make sure that we are changing things. Let me show you so you can see it. I have my car ready for shipping. You know. Oh, I left the thing already. I think I left it. Oh, I'm on the computer. Yo, sorry. I'm on the computer and stuff down there. I thought I was on the phone, but I'm actually on the computer. But I wanted to show you how we're preparing for Liberia. On that note, I want to say thank you and listening. I will be back shortly. Let's continue to engage one another and make sure that we're changing hearts and minds for the sake of Liberia. Until next time, Duke, I'm out.
Specifically. One is we will provide financing to Liberian businesses, Liberian businesswomen, Liberian businesses, because credit and financing is the engine for private sector growth and expansion. What caused the global economic crisis in 2008 was the freezing of the banks. When